Well, today's episode is going to be so exciting because it's Thursday. Not only we're going to be reviewing Impact Wrestling since we're getting closer and closer to Under Siege, and also we're going to review Ring of Honor with some interesting matches. We're also going to be reviewing two other events that happened on Thursday, but not here in the States. It happened in Japan once again. The first one's going to be All Japan Pro Wrestling with a partial show from their Superpower series on day 3 that also happened. This one also features the Yoshi wrestlers involved, most specifically, majority of the Colors faction will be involved as well. And of course, we continue with more of the best of the Super Juniors. We're going to see how far advanced, and also it's been told who is officially out of the tournament, but we continue on with them anyway, regardless until then. And then, of course, we got some small news updates, what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, let's begin with All Japan Pro Wrestling with day 3 of the Superpower series. Now, for the record here, I did not see day 1 or day 2 because it was impossible. This one, they only put a partial of this on their YouTube channel. I'm going to try to see if I can put this on their description below so you guys can check it out. But there's some good matches that took place, so let's start with them. Our first one, we have the members of Evolution, Den Tamra, and Hikaru Sato. They take on the members of Voodoo Murders, the Saito brothers, June and Ren. Now, as you know, the Voodoo Murders and Evolution have been at war with each other ever since Suwama turned their backs on Evolution and brought back his old faction, Voodoo Murders. But of course, the Saito brothers are two of the most strongest competitors we've seen. It was, of course, a body slam by Ray Sato onto Tamra to give them the win. Now, our next one we have is singles competition. We have Blackman Suri taking on Kotaro Suzuki. Pretty good match for the junior heavyweight division type. But it was, of course, Suzuki who picked up a good win when he did an underhook powerbomb onto Blackman Suri to pick up the win. Now, the next one, this one I was looking forward to it the most, the Yoshi wrestlers. First team, we have the 3 members of the Colors unit, Yuko Sakurai, Hikari Shimizu, and Rina Amikura. They take on, of course, the Evo Girls from the brand of Evolution that All Japan Pro Wrestling, one of the directors, have been working on. We have Chi Chi and Zones. They team up with the leader of Colors, Saki. Now, it's kind of interesting to see that Saki, who is the de facto leader of the Colors unit, is diagonally. But at the process of this type of match, you can tell this is a good thing because the Evo Girls may learn something from Saki since she is a veteran in the pro wrestling world. And I think that's a good thing for them. But however, there was some good moments. I mean, Colors being Colors, who they are, I've seen them many times. But it was, of course, what was it? A sleeper by Yuko Sakurai who put away, I think, who was it? Oh, yeah. Chi Chi down and forcing her to tap out. I have to say, Yuko is not like the top wrestler, but she has shown promising at times. But it was a pretty good match, not to mention. I know they said in the comments they would like to get at it again. I mean, I'm planning to do a discussion video about like companies like not only New Japan but also Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan and of course GLEAT. They are allowing uh, Yoshi wrestlers to be in their promotion. That sort of thing is one of the things we definitely got to be talking about. Now, our next match we have Onaba Tekimasa versus Renayabe. Not much of a pretty good, not much of a pup, but one thing I did see is a lot of the technical aspects, more specifically submission, but it was Ayabe who picked up a very good win when he applied his submission and he picked up the win. Now, our next match, which is going to be our last one, oh, excuse me, we have Atsuki Ayogi and Raisi Hayato. They take on Noruki Doi and Kakuta Omori. This is one of those typical junior heavyweight tag team matches you definitely going to enjoy. But however, it was Doi who picked up the win to Ayogi. Now, Ayogi has been trying to consider the challenge for the junior heavyweight title, but of course, Naruki Doi sending him that he is the best of the in the junior heavyweight division, and he's been really impressive since he gone freelancing since his contract with Dragon Gate expired last year. But we'll see what else is going to take place. I think that's pretty much it with All Japan. Let's move on with New Japan. Okay, so we're in day 6 of the best of the Super Juniors in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Their stop is, I believe, in Iwate. Iwate. Sorry, guys, it's that name sounds familiar. Have you guys ever seen Being the Elite? Uh, Nick Jackson called this city Iwate, but it was Kenny who corrected him, saying it's Iwate. Sorry, just look it up on Being the Elite. You'll see what I mean. So anyway, uh, unfortunately, as you know, when it comes to the best of the Super Juniors, some of you question, okay, how would we know who's going to make it? Now, automatically, they have to thin out the wrestlers who did not make the necessary points. So, a little bit about that we will talk. Now, according to certain things that were announced by Kevin Kelly. Hold on, I have the notes somewhere around here. Forgot to place it. Yeah, um, a certain note that said that Bushi and Taguchi are already automatically out due to the fact that they were winless throughout the tournament. So basically, that's how it works. So basically, they will continue to wrestle, but they're no longer, how to say, are not in the process of hopefully try to reach the goal to win the tournament. But we'll see what happens after that. Now, our first match, we start out from Block A. We have Doiki versus Mike Bailey. I thought this match was going to be interesting because Kevin Kelly thought in his mind that Doiki pulled up an upset by defeating Leo Rush. Well, not when it comes to Mike Bailey because we seen how incredible Mike Bailey is, but he was able to apply. Well, he tried to apply the Flamingo driver, but Doik was already well prepared for that. But he was definitely not prepared for the Ultima weapon, and that's how Mike Bailey picked up the win on this one. Now, our next match is B block. We have Bushi taking on Kanemaru. This match went quickly, like less than 2 minutes. Bushi applied MX and gave himself a win. However, even though he picked up the win, automatically he was already out of the tournament. There is no chance that he will far advanced in the tournament, but that's how it is. But he will continue to wrestle just to make my new subscribers, new viewers, to understand that. Now we go back to the A block. We have TJP versus Ryusuke Taguchi. Now these two guys are no strangers to each other. If you guys remember clearly, it was TJP along with Akira that defeated Wato and Taguchi for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. But apparently, normally would have seen TJP apply the Black Mamba in this type of match, but nope, it did not. But Taguchi was really impressive. He threw in a little bit of the submission aspects in this match, but in the end, it was TJP with the Pinoy stretch that forced Taguchi to tap out. Now we go back to B block. We have Dan Maloney versus Kevin Knight. Now you probably would have thought Kevin Knight may have no chance with a guy like Dan Maloney, who was a killer. I thought so too, but Kevin Knight did put up a good fight until he nailed him with the DDT spike. It was over. Kevin Knight has been impressive, but some of you may ask, will he be? I don't think so. He's not. He seems like he will do pretty good in the best of the Super Juniors, but reaching to the end, not likely. But yeah. Now this next match, this is a very interesting one. Sho versus Taiji Shimori. You know this type of match, how it plays. Sho likes to play mind games. This guy has no promising. He likes to play, but of course Evil is there trying to ensure he makes it all the way through. But once again, he was tricked. Taiji Shimori lost this match, all thanks to Sho and Evil with their ways. If I was Taiji Shimori, I would definitely bring this up to David Finlay, because I don't think House of Torture are killers. They just like to cheat their way through. Now, our next match is back to the B block. We have Clark Connors versus El Desperado. I have to say, El Desperado put up a hell of a fight. He was dealing with a guy who was willing to hurt him even further, but luckily it was Desperado that finished off with the El Esclero onto him, and boom. But however, at the post match, Clark Connors decided to beat the crap out of him, and then later he tried to spear him, but luckily Desperado taught him a lesson. So basically, he told him, "Don't underestimate me, kid." So that's one of the things I like of Desperado. Don't underestimate him. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting one in the Block A. We have Teton taking on Lio Rush. Now, you probably think, holy shit, this is going to be a good one. It definitely was. However, it was out hitting with the double stump in the Immortal right onto him, and it was over right from there. This is another loss for Rush. This is the second time in 2 days that he has lost. His first loss was against Doiki the previous. So I don't know what's that all about, but I know many people are hoping Lio Rush could make it through. We just gotta wait and see till we get closer and closer towards the end. Now we jump back to B block. We have Francisco Akira taking on Yo. Now these two guys are, you can tell that Francisco Akira is trying to prove he is the best of the junior A competitors. But Yo, we know he has the talent, but he needs to reach the top there, because ever since Roppongi 3K broke up, he needs to pull it up. But luckily for him, he was able to apply the 5-star clutch, and he picked up a really good win. However, Akira, who always has a mean streak, he's pissed, and he chased Yo because he will not be satisfied knowing that he lost to Yo. But Yo lost him in the backstage. He didn't see him, that he was hiding, but of course Yo is happy that he got away with this win, despite the fact that he did it clean, but Francisco Akira is not happy with it. Now, our next match, this was a very critical one. As you know, we have Block A, we have Kushida versus Hiromu Takahashi, two familiar faces. This match was so intense because these two are amongst the best of the junior heavyweight division in New Japan. Hiromu took this fight not only in the ring, but also outside the ring. It was insane. They went to an area which is grassy, but they had to get their butts back into the ring as soon as possible. But this match ended by countout, allowing Hiromu to advance. But however, mathematically, it was already announced that Kushida, since he only had one win, he's already out. So basically, he's out of the tournament. Basically, he's not going to be advancing far than he. This is a huge disappointment. I mean, Kushida is amongst the best. So we'll see what happens then. Now, our main event, we have Block B, consists with Robbie Eagles versus Master Wato. Now, we know these two men, what they're capable. Robbie Eagles, he's one of those wrestlers that people can get behind. Wato, we know that he is talented, but he doesn't know how to get to the direction he needs to get to. I thought it was a pretty good match, but however, it was Wato with the uh, Zutentaku Kaku's German suplex that put away Robbie Eagles and allowing himself to win. I thought it was really good. So we'll see what happens more as we progress with more on the Best of the Super Juniors. Uh, let me see, reveal the points right now. What we have, I think we have those right now. The points on both A and B. Okay, here we got it. For the A block, we have Kushida with 1 win with 6 losses. He has only 2 points, but automatically he's already out. Roysuke Taguchi, he's still winless, but he's already automatically out since he is unable to advance. Leo Rush currently has 10 points with 5 wins and 2 losses with 10 points. Doiki, he is doing good for right now. He only has 3 wins and 4 losses with 6 points. The same thing we have with Hiromu Takahashi. He's tied with Leo Rush with 10 points. Titan and TJP are both tied with 8 points, with 4 wins and 3 losses each. So that's 8 points. Taiji Shimori and Mike Bailey are also tied with both Hiromu Takahashi and Leo Rush with 10 points. As for Sho, well, he he didn't get he got 3 wins on this one with 6 points. So I'm not sure if he'll be able to advance, but we'll see what happens then. Um, and as for the B block, we have El Desperado, Yo, and Master Wato, and Robbie Eagles. They're all 4 of these men are tied with 10 points, and I think they have 5 wins and 2 losses each. Kevin Knight and Clark Connors, they're both tied with 6 points with 3 wins and 4 losses. Who else? Kanemaru and Dan Maloney are tied with 4 points with 2 wins and 5 losses. Um, Francisco Cara with 4 wins and 3 losses, 8 points. As for Bushi, he already has 1 win, uh, with one win and 6 losses with 2 points. So basically, like I said, he's already out, but he's not gonna make it all the way to the end. So that's pretty much it. We're now with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I believe it's time to move on with Impact Wrestling. Okay, Impact Wrestling. As I said it before, we're only 1 week away from Under Siege. A lot of things could take place during the other time. Now, our opening match features a non-title match. Trey Miguel, our current X Division champion, taking on Laredo Kid. You know this one is going to have a lot of good spots on this particular match. However, this match ended in disgrace when Trey Miguel decided to remove Laredo Kid's mask and then roll them up and pick up the win. I mean, talk about this. But however, Trey Miguel instead, he decided to hijack the entire program because he felt he is not getting the respect he deserves. However, Chris Sabin decided to put him in his place by telling him, yeah, you're right. You're not getting the respect. And he tells him why. He tells him, you defiled the X Division title by spray painting it. You insult guys like AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, Jerry Lane, everybody who's ever held that title. So basically, that's what he's saying. So basically, that's what he wants. So if he wants to respect, he has to learn to give respect. But Trey doesn't believe that. But that's how it is. He's not going to get the respect if he doesn't give respect. Now, while backstage, Jai Vidal, who took a selfie with Trinity last week, he said he got in trouble saying that it was her fault. But in reality, it was Jai Vidal's fault for that because he was the one who took a selfie for it. So we'll see about that. Now, while next match, we featured Ace Austin along with Chris Bay. He takes on Jason Hotch, one half of the Good Hands, but he's accompanied by his tag partners, John Schuyler and Brian Myers. Now, their primary focus right now is to ensure that the Good Hands get a future tag team titles. But however, of course, Brian Myers, he decided to give the barking orders. Schuyler tried to get involved, but luckily Chris Bay got involved and took care of him. But however, that piece of weasel Brian Myers knocked out Ace Austin, giving Jason Hodge the win. So basically, we don't know. We know that in Under Siege, it was revealed that the Bullet Club, the ABC, will be facing, and surprise, surprise for all of you guys who are fans of the NXT UK brand, Subculture will be there. Yet Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, along with Danny Luna. That's going to be a good one to say. They said that Mark Andrews have been in Impact Wrestling before, so that's going to be good. But however, if the Good Hands were able to pick up a win against Ace Austin, that there is chances they will make a play for the tag titles in the future. But they got to be more careful with Brian Myers being there. Now, Macklin, as you know, he cut ties with Singh and Sheriff for what happened 2 weeks ago. However, last week he was impressed what he saw. They took out Heath, even though they did that in order to drive a conscience out of Rhino's head. So he decides, you guys do exactly what I ordered you, no questions asked. So they exactly what it is. But later they decided to find PCO and take him out permanently. But PCO, he will not stay down no matter what Macklin thinks. Now, apparently what happened during that the Knockouts tag match with Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo, Grace had revealed during the interview that it was an accident, that it was bound to happen, but they hope that she is recovering before Under Siege. However, Alicia Edwards thinks it was intentional, but Jordan Grace is not playing games with her, so we'll see what happens then. Now, our next match, we have Trinity making her in-ring debut in Impact, taking on one half of our current Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Kylan King of the Coven. You probably thought this match was going to be interesting. It was. I have to say, it was a pretty good way to introduce her now into this setting, but she was able to. But however, Wild got involved, but later referee caught her and sent her to the backstage. But of course, it was the Starstruck submission that put away Kylan King, giving Trinity the win. However, during the post-match, Jai Vidal comes out saying that he has a message for Trinity, saying that she will accept her challenge at Under Siege for the open contract. Basically, they're going to face off. But of course, Trinity gave a little piece of message back through Jai Vidal to Giselle Shaw. Now, as you all know, Jessica is waiting for Rosemary to come back. But however, the Coven are trying to persuade her, to break the rules, because that's exactly what they're saying, that the spirits can actually open the door. But she hasn't made her mind. She's hoping that Rosemary would come back safely as possible. Now, our next match, we have Jordan Threat versus Sierra. This was mostly a match that you probably think that this is going to go straight to Jody Threat, because she is officially signed with Impact Wrestling. But it was a K416 that did put her away. I didn't see any significance towards that, but it was good. It was pretty interesting to see that now they're building up character, but sooner or later she will pick up a good major story down the line. Now, Frank Kazarian, as you know, he has made his return back to Impact, claiming now he wants to help the new generation of wrestlers in Impact. But however, for Eddie Edwards claims that he is the true leader, so he has to follow what he says. But Frankie Kazarian said, hope it doesn't end up like Honor No More. So that's a really good moment. Now, once again, Detective Dango is always still on the case, trying to discover who was behind Santino Marella. But Joe Hendry had a different theory, so he's starting to think, what if it was Dango? He was the least suspected person, and I think that was the key thing. And even Zicky Dice said it himself. He thinks that it was him. So it looks like it was Dirty Dango who did it. He was the one who made the attacks. Now, why would he do that? Simple. I think it's because here's the thing. Santino Marella, he was the director of Authority. He did not assign Dirty Dango as the deputy director of Authority. So he just weaseled his way in. But We'll see what happens down the line. Now, our main event is a 6-man tag team champ. Now, all 6 competitors will be facing each other at Under Siege to determine the number 1 contender for the Impact World Championship. Now, team number 1, we have Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Franklin Kazarian. They take on the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, Yuya Uemura, and Alex Shelley. I thought this match was in a lot of fun and interesting, but however, I knew there was going to be discord between both Kazarian and Eddie Edwards due to the fact that, Eddie tries to act like he is the true leader of Impact Wrestling, but however, it didn't go sour, but it was the shell shock by Alex Shelley onto Edwards that picked up the win. So does this mean that Alex Shelley could be on his way to pick up the win at Under Siege? Because we know he said if Chris Sabin is going to go after the X Division title, he should be going for the Impact World title that he has never challenged before. I mean, he has been X Division, he's been tag team, but he's never been world champion. And I think that's a good thing. So maybe the stars are aligned for him. So we'll see what happens next week on both Impact and also when we get to Under Siege. And I think that's pretty much it with Impact Wrestling. So I believe it's time to move on with ROH. Okay, ROH. Now, it starts out with a very interesting interview by Dasha Gonzalez where she talks to Ninja Mac and Willie Mack. Now, it appears that they both compliment each other. What a great match they won. Now, Ninja Mac is willing to admit that he lost, but he was really impressed by him. Even Willie Mack thought the same thing about him too. So this led to a formation of a brand new tag team. And this is what Willie Mack called them. Mac Attack. And of course, as Ninja Mac would say, you can bet on that. I have to say, it's a very interesting thing to see that now we're going to see a very interesting duo with the same name Mac and see what they can bring into the table. Now, our opening match, we have Gringo Loco versus Rey Fenix. Now, these two guys are no strangers to each other. Now, those who are familiarized with Gringo Loco, he has wrestled the best luchadors coming out of Mexico. He has wrestled down there too. So this is one of those, Rey Fenix is one of his rivals that he knows exactly. So Rey Fenix cannot rely on his old moves that he normally would. He has to think of something because, as you know, when Gringo Loco faces someone he's faced before, he intends to familiarize with what his movesets are. But luckily, in this end, it was, of course, a rolling cutter that put away Gringo Loco and giving Rey Fenix the win. Now, our next interview, as you know, the Wingmen make their way. It's saying, they're going to face against the Iron Savages. They said some bad compliments on them, but I feel sorry that they're going to be squashed by the Iron Savages one way or the other. Now, our next match, we have Willow Nightingale versus Maddie Ronkowski. It's been a while since we've seen her, but it was a pretty good match. But mostly, I figured this match was going to go straight to Willow Nightingale because, Maddie, we've seen her so many times, not only with AEW, but since AEW Dark Elevation no longer be part of it. But for her to be in Ring of Honor would be a good thing for her. But it was the Dr. Bomb that put away Maddie, giving Willow the chance to win. So, just like that. Now, our next match, we have the Wingmen versus the Iron Savages. I thought this was a pretty good match, but as always, I had a feeling that the Iron Savages were going to put away the Wingmen when they applied the Iron Tower onto Avalon, but it was Bronson who picked up the win by pinning Peter Avalon. Now, our next match, we have Cole Carter and Zach Clayton taking on Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. I thought this match was pretty good. Is giving, of course, now the chance Matt and Sydal and Daniels, who are the first tag team champions in Ring of Honor. I thought it was a very impressive one, but it was in the end the best moonsault ever that finished off Zach Clayton, giving Daniels and Sydal the win. Now, our next match, we have Miranda Elise versus Lady Frost. I thought this was a pretty good match because we'd seen Miranda Elise before in Ring of Honor, before the the change of ownership. I thought it was a very impressive match from what I can see. But Lady Frost, she is always will be one of my favorite ones to enjoy watching. I love what she can do in the ring, and she's amazing. But of course, she applied the temperature drop, putting down Miranda Lee's, giving her a win. I hope we get to see her more in Ring of Honor. Next up, we got Eli Ism and Cheeseburger taking on the Spanish announced Project Serpentico and Angelico. I thought it was a pretty good fun match, but of course Luther still hanging around on there in the top. But however, as you know, we know that Eliism and Cheeseburger, they've been with Ring of Honor before, but in the end it was Angelico with the Navarro lock to put away Cheeseburger, forcing him to tap out. Now, this is the seventh defense for the IWGP World Television title to be defended. AR Fox became the new challenger, taking on Zack Sabre Jr. Now, this is a very aspect. Now, Zack Sabre Jr. is considered one of the best technical wrestlers in all of the world. He faces one of the most craftiest wrestlers we have seen, AR Fox. Now, you probably think the AR Fox would have found ways to craft himself out of this one. No, but it was the stretch muffler by Zack Sabre Jr. to put away AR Fox and giving him the win. However, during post-match comments in the ring, he considers himself as the best world television champion. However, someone had something to say about that, and that person is none other than the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. So he felt like there was an insult. But, however, um, they were interrupted by the inaugural World Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions Seidel and Daniels. So it appears that they have gold on their standards. However, Zack Sabre Jr. came up with this brilliant idea. Him and Joe team up to call themselves the television champions of the world. They take on Seidel and Daniels. However, the stipulation is this: if Daniels and Seidel can win the match against them, then they get to choose which of the world television champions they get to walk. Will it be Joe, or which one will each of these guys would challenge? So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch. So let's move on. Now, the members of the embassy, the Gates of Agony, Teo Leona, and Bishop Khan, as you know, they take on Dalton Castle and Brent, one half of the boys. However, we know that boy number 2 is out of commission. We figured that this was a ploy by Prince Nana himself. But however, this match ended with, of course, where apparently Dalton Castle was the legal guy, but somehow Brent was the one who ended up being pinned by Bishop Khan. So Dalton Castle's not happy with the results, so we'll see what happens then. Next up, we got Shane Taylor along with the Workhorsemen. They take on Shaft and the Midnight Heat, Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl. You can tell this match was going to be a brutal, hard-hitting match, but it was in the end a package pile driver by Shane Taylor to Shaft, giving them the win. Now, by the end, but another interview with Dasha, she had the privilege to talk to the Righteous regarding to Stu. Now, Stu wanted answers why they're doing this to him, but they're saying that, he knows that they're right because he believes that because he made the choice to leave and then Dark Order moved on without him. But now that he's back, it's like he feels like nothing has changed. Like they've put him to the side. But of course, Evil Uno will not let that stand. So he's basically wants them to give them one chance to prove them wrong. To prove that they're right about what they said. But of course, Evil Uno and the rest of Dark Order are not too pleased about how at first they just had this with Vance and now this. Now our next match we have Ashley DeBlanc taking on the return former Ring of Honor World Champion Mercedes Martinez. This match really, really was good, but not the greatest. But Mercedes did pick up the win when she applied the sleeper hold onto Ashley DeBlanc to pick up the win. Now our next match is a fight without honor. Basically, anything is legal, is the Kingdom versus Action Andretti and Darius Martin. You probably thought this match was gonna be brutal, but it was brutal. And of course, Maria getting involved like always. But there was a great moment where Mike Bennett accidentally hit Maria, knocking her out, and then of course Matt Taven saying crap right in front of Darius Martin. But Action Andretti gave him a low blow and all this and that. But right in the end, it was of course a doomsday by by Andretti and Darius to put away Mike Bennett, giving them the win. So basically, now that this is over, however, they put everything to peace between them, saw that these guys earned the right to be there in Ring of Honor. So basically, that this is exactly what Ring of Honor needs, guys like them, that they know what honor is all about. So they were willing to squash their bad blood and now end it. I thought it was a pretty good match, but it was really epic how it ended, knowing it's done. So I think that's pretty much it right now with this. So let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. Now, as you know, recently I reported about the Von Erichs, more specifically, Ross and Marshall revealed that the entire family of the Von Erichs are now moving back to their native land of Texas. So that was a great news because, as you know, we know the story about the Von Erichs. If you guys saw that documentary in Dark Side of the Ring about them, that's a very um, dark thing that's been going on with the family due to what they've been through. But of course, revealing now that they're moving to Texas, even Ross mentioned that their dad is happy that they're moving back to his home state. Uh, but a lot of questions were asked about their status. Now, we haven't seen the Von Erichs for a while since we know their last signage was with MLW, Major League Wrestling. It's now been revealed that they are free agents, so they're no longer with the company. Where they land is yet to be determined. We do know there's options for them to go to. There's, of course, Impact Wrestling. There's AEW. I don't know if they want to go to WWE, but that is one of the things we definitely could see. We know they made a good impact in Pro Wrestling Noah in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to make the jump to New Japan. That is one of the things I definitely could see. But wherever they go, I know we're definitely going to be there to support them. Now, for the upcoming Kid Zombie show on the 9th of June by West Coast Pro, it was announced a tag team has been booked for this match. We have Los Suavecitos taking on the Infantry, Carly Bravo and the Captain Sean Dean. Now, for the GCW Tournament of Survival 8 that will happen on June 3rd, the 11th participant will be the Green Phantom. You may have seen him down in Canada. He is one of those wrestlers that came from that one promotion, but IWS. So yeah, so he will be involved. Now, our last update, this was already something that I failed to mention a while back. Maki Ito issued the challenge for the Princess of Princess Championship. This is a title that she has never held before. Of course, it's going to happen. It's going to take place on the 8th of July. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, I know I talked about this before. I know Maki Ito, she is amongst a few wrestlers that are close to become Triple Crown champions because, as you know, I mentioned Rika Tatsumi is the first ever Triple Crown champion. She has won all 3 titles. However, Maki Ito has won 2 titles so far. She needs one more. The title she already won is the International Princess title and, of course, the Tag Team titles. So if she wins the Princess Championship, then she will definitely be a Triple Crown champion. But until then, we'll see what happens until we get to July 8th. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's just, call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have finally AEW is back on Friday, so we will have that, and of course NXT Level Up. However, we continue with more of the best of the Super Juniors. We don't know who else will be eliminated out of the tournament, but we'll see when we get there. I haven't decided yet if I want to add another show to it, but we just gotta wait and see until we get there. I'm kind of curious to see more what's gonna happen on the Best of the Super Juniors on this one completely. So I think that's pretty much it. I'll just see you guys on the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.